The text I'm about to read is a direct quote from the web page called Introduction to the Poetic and Wisdom Books by Joseph R. Nanley Jr., and it is referenced in my reference page. The Hebrew Bible regards only Job, Psalms, and Proverbs as poetic books. In the English Bible, the poetic books also include Ecclesiastes and Song of Songs. Neither arrangement is entirely satisfactory. For one thing, Song of Songs is written in poetry and excluded from the Hebrew arrangement. On the other hand, Ecclesiastes is a mixture of prose and poetry, but included in the English arrangement. All 5 books have in common only that they are not historical or prophetic in a strict sense. Since, however, 4 of them are comprised entirely of poetry and one partially, it has become customary to speak of all of them as poetic books. Poetry is extremely common throughout the Old Testament, and the ideas discussed below apply to it wherever it's found. Biblical poetry can be distinguished from prose in at least 4 important ways: regularity of rhythmic structures, frequent use of figures of speech, heavy reliance on imagery, and intense emotional expression. Prose exhibits all of these features to some degree, but they appear more frequently and noticeably in poetry. 3 of the 5 prophetic books comprise the Old Testament books of wisdom: Job, Proverbs, and Ecclesiastes. Wisdom passages appear occasionally in the other books, but only in a limited fashion. The books of wisdom have at least 3 distinguishing characteristics. First, the word wisdom and its synonyms, such as understanding, appear more frequently in these books than others. Second, they have a common mode of revelation in that they rely more on observations of life than on supernatural visions and auditions. Third, because of their inspiration is drawn mostly from contemporary observations of creation and human experiences, they do not focus much on the history of salvation. Little direct reflection is made on the grand redemptive events that took place in Israel's history. And that was the Hebrew Poetic and Wisdom books.